Hello there and welcome to Zen Kitchen. Hopefully there's not too many background noise to disturb our quick, short, lovely video of one of my all-time favorites, pour over coffee. It's going to be a little tricky because I've got an old-fashioned way of doing water here. My tea kettle is dirty and there's much in the dishwasher, so I'm not afraid to just boil water. Let's see if we can get away with this. Not that hard, but while I'm doing the video at the same time. Oh, we spilled a little. That's okay. So here's the deal, and that's why I put a microfiber cloth down. Don't fill it all the way up. It's been a while since I've made one of these suckers. But what I learned is that, number one, if you put too many grinds in the coffee filter, or if you try to put too much water in, especially on the first go, it needs to sort of soak up like a dry sponge, and then it flows a little bit better. It can actually burst if you try to go too extreme with it, or if the water is really, really, really hot, then you can also burst the seam on the bottom, and then you have nice coffee grinds all inside of your coffee cup. So let's try to avoid that today. Worst case scenario, what I do is you just run that through another clean filter through the same thing but without more grounds, and you can easily collect all the grounds that were in your coffee cup. So you don't have to throw it away. The one thing I do like about this pan is there's a lip, so pouring sauces and water is not impossible. I like to challenge myself. I've been playing around with cooking and coffee and working in restaurants for such a large part of my early life that I sort of like to just kind of play. I don't always do things exactly the way that I'm supposed to on purpose, but sometimes I do. So that's brewing nicely. I can see, I don't know if I can get a view of it. You can see a little bit pouring there. You got a nice even stream. That's positive. Obviously these are pre-ground. Cafe Verona, one of my favorite blends of Starbucks. And then I got filters, the number 4. You don't actually need number 4. You could probably get away with number 2. But here's the trick, is if you overfill the grounds and overfill the water, that's a negative thing. So one way to prevent that is by having an extra large filter. And that way you don't fill it all the way. And there's plenty of room, as you can see, for really as much water as you want in there. But again, I would recommend, see how I'm kind of stopping right about at the grind level, the level of the grounds. I don't even know how to say that correctly. Forgive me for my impromptu errors. It's funny when you're doing videos and like this, like even there I just made a small mistake in speaking. You'll make these little mistakes, and I'm not going to edit that out because, you know, then you're going to lose the continuity of it. And that's what it's actually like to do stuff, to make movies, to make little short videos. Sometimes you make small errors. As long as there's not too many. If there's too many, yeah, then it gets to be a bit much. Alright, let's put the pan in the sink, yeah? So here's the thing, which you might experience, and you're seeing this now, it's getting pretty full. I don't know if you can see it. I can see it. See, it's getting fairly close to the top. It's probably going to be fine. There's not that much left. In this situation, you might want to have a spare coffee cup ready. Another thing that I like to do, but it's in the dishwasher right now, is I take a really oversized, large measuring cup, those Pyrex ones, the thick-walled glass. They can handle a very hot liquid, so you're definitely not going to accidentally shatter the cup or anything like that. And that would only happen if you had a cold cup. However, what it does is it has a nice pouring lip, so you can brew coffee in there, and then here, let me show you real quick while we're here. It's handy. Alright, so they got this lid here for that Pyrex measuring cup. And see, it even has that and that. So what you can do is you can put that on top of the Pyrex measuring cup, and then you can pour yourself little mini cups of coffee and kind of keep it fairly hot and fresh without being on a burner. I detest putting coffee on a burn. I will drink it slightly cold. I mean, you may have a different preference than me, but I will drink it slightly cold just to get around that. Alright, let's move this guy down here. Yeah, it's a male. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to work on being gender neutral in all ways. It means just more you think about it. You're like, why do I call that a male? Or like my truck, why do I call it a female? I have no idea. If you really understood these things, maybe we could understand other things about the human mind. This is going to be delicious. I just know it. Old school. Make a pour over. It's not that difficult. Doesn't require a machine. It's a little bit more work, I suppose, washing of dishes and whatnot, but you're still doing that with the other things. And I've gotten to this thing where I sort of don't really like machines because they're always clogging and getting calcified, and you know, there's a whole rigmarole that you have to go through just to keep those things clean and tasting good. And is it the most cost-efficient way? Possibly. I think you would say those K-cups that they make are probably the best way to go. But you can't really control the amount, you know, the concentration. You're stuck with that. In this case, you can make it really strong or you can make it really weak. Without further ado, I'm going to dig into some coffee.